Hello folks. Well, Nick, the modern mystic, was asking about consciousness, awareness and attention, and what do you know, what does that mean to you? Well, my first sort of response, I just a little text comment, as you do. I said, well, it's like a radio. A radio can be on, and it can be receiving a signal, so it's kind of conscious, but that's if it's not tuned in, i.e. it's not aware, it's meaningless. It can just be or whatever. So when that radio is then tuned in, then maybe it's got more of an awareness. But then of course, perhaps a radio is not the best analogy, because obviously a radio don't pay attention. But I mean, you could be on the end of the radio, I suppose. But so I was thinking, well, how else would I think about this? Well, okay, another analogy I thought about was, if you've got a computer program, maybe it's a security program, maybe they're looking for terrorists. Oh dear, they'll be monitoring that one, you see, there'll be some awareness, and then if I said that word too often, they'll be paying attention. You see where I'm coming from? So, in other words, you've got a security program running on a computer, so the computer's obviously switched on, so it's conscious, yeah, and this program's running, so it's conscious. And then if it starts picking up some key words, right, it's got that awareness that somebody's talking about certain keywords, so it's got an awareness. Okay, so once it's aware of certain words, if they're said enough or said in the right order or whatever, then it starts paying attention. And I think that's sort of similar with us. When we're awake, let's say, then our conscious is sort of, if you like, what seems like the main player. I mean, you've got your subconscious going on and stuff like that. But when we're awake, we're conscious, yeah? That doesn't mean to say we're aware, because you can be awake and you can know that, or either you can not know that, or not be aware of something. So then when we become aware of something, maybe we're in a room and we're aware that somebody's come into the room, right? We still may not be paying attention, okay, because we might be maybe you just got up in the morning, you're a bit, yeah. Now if that person then starts talking directly to us, then we pay attention. So there's a consciousness, I'm awake, I've got a signal coming in, like the radio's got signal coming in, but it's not really, I've not got any awareness of what that signal means. Then you tune in a bit. So then you've got awareness, i.e. you know somebody's coming in the room, you know they're speaking, and then whether you pay attention to what they're saying or not depends whether you pick up something that is either A, relevant to you, or of interest to you. Okay, so there's obviously something in your brain that says, oh, don't pay attention to that, for whatever reason. It may be because it's something that's not of interest to you, doesn't affect you in some way. There's something, obviously some little switches in our brains that go, listen to that, pay attention, because that's important, that might be useful to know, something like that. Somebody might be telling you something that's useful, or another switch goes off and says, no, don't listen, don't pay attention. So you're still aware that that person may be nattering away, yeah, but you're not actually paying attention to what they're saying. So you're aware of them speaking, but you're not paying attention to what it is. So when they when they say to you, now you did understand what I've just told you, didn't you? You go, what? Oh, were you talking to me then? Yeah, that is when you should have been paying attention. You were aware of them, you were conscious, but you weren't paying attention. And there are some times when we should be paying attention, and we're not, and it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter if you weren't paying attention and somebody was telling you about something that, you know, they want you to put this shelf up and they want it in that corner there, but when you do it, make sure it's made out of pine and not something else because you don't like something else, blah blah blah. Now that might affect you in some way, obviously, but it's not it's not a big problem. But for example, if somebody's just told you don't put some money in the stock market at the moment, and you're not paying attention, and then you go along to your financial advisor and they say, what you going to do with that £1 million then? You go, oh well, I don't know, what do you reckon, put it in the stock market? Yeah, okay. And you get wherever the first person was, where you wasn't paying attention, and they say, oh, did you hear? You know, I was telling you this morning about such and such and not putting money in the stock market. And you go, yeah. Well, there's just been this major disaster on the stock market, and all these funds have been wiped out. And you're going, oh, I don't feel all that. Oh, I've got a headache coming on. You know what I mean? Where you should have been paying attention and you wasn't. You was aware that they were talking, but you weren't paying attention. So there's your consciousness, i.e. you're awake, signals coming in. Your awareness, i.e. you're sort of tuned in or focused onto a particular person or group of people or something happening anyway, so you're aware of that happening. And then there's your attention, which is you're actually now making notes, if you like, in the old box up here of what's going on. Okay, so there's that sort of 3 levels as Nick was sort of, I guess, alluding to. So I'm not sure if I can sort of waffle on anymore or whether that kind of, I think that's what I see it as anyway. So anyway, it's just a video response to Nick, the Modern Mystic, and a question of consciousness, what does that mean, awareness, what does that mean in relation to that, and attention. So there's these 3 levels. You're sort of awake, you can hear the signals coming in ish, but you're not really aware of who's saying it or whatever's going on. You're not really aware of it, you can just hear the coming in. And then awareness is, oh, I'm aware that it's a person speaking, or it's the radio's just going on because it's the radio alarm clock going on, and then there's the attention bit, which is, oh, they're speaking about such and such on the radio, or, you know, her indoors is saying something or other, and then you start and pay attention, or not, as the case may be. You might get in trouble if you don't. Anyway, right, that's sort of kind of my feedback on that one. I don't know if I've done a very good video on that one really, but that's just a anyway, right, cheers for now.